I know you take the 2 points, you don't like to critique a win, but how do you kind of talk about the effort tonight from the guys? It seemed like the first period was everything you wanted. The second two periods, second and third, really wasn't what you were looking for, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, you took my lines there. So at the end of the day, like you just mentioned, I thought our first period was real good. Second period, we lost momentum and we really had a tough time getting any momentum back. And we lost momentum. Our shifts were long. They were out changing us, so they had a better pace. And they were getting all their pucks behind our D and running our D hard. So when you play that way, you got to give the opposition credit. They played real strong second and third period. That's, the team that went to the Final Four last year, so they're a real good team. And they, because of the fact that they were out changing us and forced us into a couple bad penalties, and were able to get pucks behind our D. They made it extremely hard for us last second and third period. But we were able to hang in there, and we found a way to get it done in overtime.
Rob Parent, you're on with Coach. Go ahead.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, Alain. How much does their physical advantage play into a game like this? And did you guys just have to sort of recapture your counter to that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's as much their physical advantage as the fact that, their forwards' ability to get pucks behind our D. I don't know if our gap, but obviously I'll watch the game and get a better sense of it. Maybe our gap was a little bit loose, but I know that we had many opportunities like we had in the first, which we executed, which we got pucks behind their D, which in my mind, we played a strong period. In the second and third period, far too many pucks that didn't make their Ds turn. They could quick up. Their transition was good, and we were on our heels.
Charlie O'Connor, you're on with Alain. Go ahead.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Alain. When you sit a guy like Travis Konechny, I assume you're looking for a response, from your team in terms of, how they can step up and make the changes that you're looking for. I guess in terms of that response, how do you think the team graded out on the whole?
Well, what I'm looking for from our group is to play the right way, the way that's going to permit you to win. And yes, we are winning right now. Yes, we did, in my estimation, play the right way. But for whatever reason, in the second and third period, getting those pucks behind their Ds, keeping our shifts short so that we can have a fast pace, they were the better team. Give them credit. Their execution in those two areas, plus the fact that they forced us into penalties, was better, and they were the better team on the ice. But we were able to, I guess, at the end of the day, bend, not break, and found a way to win. So that's a positive sign. We'll get right back at it against them tomorrow, and we'll look at finding ways to play better.
Ed Barkowitz, you're on with Alain. Go ahead.
Hey, Ed.
Hello, Alain. Alain, speaking of tomorrow, are you inclined to stick with Carter or go to Moose? And what was your evaluation? God, I'm sorry.
Moose is playing tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. And what was your evaluation of the way Phil played tonight?
I thought for a player that, hadn't really had a full practice with the team, I thought he played a good game. Obviously his size and his reach helps us back there against a team that comes at you as hard as they did in the second and the third. It's not an easy position to be put into. But he knocked on my door this morning and said he was ready to go. So trust a player that he's making the right call, and he's going out there to help you win a game.
We'll take two more questions. Wayne Fish, you're on with Alain. Go ahead.
Hey, Wayne.
Hi, Alain. Ghost looks skating the way he did before the knee surgeries. He seems like his confidence is higher. Do you see that?
There's no doubt that the Shane that I'm seeing on the ice right now is one that seems to have more confidence, is making more plays. His gap is tighter, so I can only think that it's going to get better. There's a man that was out with COVID for quite some time, 10 to 14 days, and came back, had a practice, couple skates on his own, and he's played 3 games, and he's played good for us.
Last question, Jeff Skversky, you're on with Elaine. Go ahead.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Elaine, how are you? Do you expect what first thing? Do you expect TK to be back tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, and then obviously, with him, he's been scoring a lot of goals. You said pregame you weren't happy with some of the 5-on-5. When you do this, obviously you hope to get it to spark with that player as well as the team. How do you feel like the team responded not only tonight, but how this will help you guys going forward? That anyone in your lineup, if they're not playing up to your expectations, can sit.
Well, I mean, like I said a bit prior, I liked their first period. I think you got to give the Islanders credit for the second and third. They played extremely well, and because of their forcing us to play a 200-foot and go back for pucks, they had more of the zone time and more of the pressure time. As far as TK, I mean, it's like a mother or father, sometimes making tough decisions with their children. It's not that they don't love their children. They're trying to get them to do the right things. And that's what I'm doing with TK. I mean, I want him to play the right way. I really believe that he's a real good player. I think he's in our top 3 forwards. But like I mentioned before, he's not the only one right now that needs to play better 5-on-5. So tonight he sat out, and I expect him when he comes back to play real strong for us and to play the right way.